I feel like I've been putting off this video for a long time. I've really been getting into top 10 lists, and I've wanted to do more hip-hop things since that's something that I love. So today I'm going to be doing my list for the top 50 rappers of all time.
Busted open on the opening line when you feeling all the pressure and you choking and dying. Everybody wanna be the king to turn, glow in the boat just to get to burnt bananas.
Now, first and foremost, I know I'm gonna get killed in the comments if, you know, this video gets a lot of views, but this is just an opinion. These are all my opinions. I'm just up to spark a friendly debate. That's all I want to do. And I just want to share to you guys my thoughts on who I think the best top 50 rappers of all time is. I'll tell you right now, the categories that I put thought into to kind of make my list are just, first of all, raw hip-hop talent, style, flow, all that kind of stuff. Songwriting ability and lyricism, that's very important to me as a songwriter myself. Longevity and popularity, how well you could keep your game up. Obviously, I know, you know, some of these rappers were gone too early, but I think, you know, just being popular at the top of the game for a while counts too. And the reason I put popularity in there, which maybe a lot of people don't, is just because if a lot of people like your music, then that means you have to be somewhat talented, right? So I got my list right here. Let's get started. I'm gonna rattle off these, you know, bottom few because it's like 50 through 30. How you really rank those? It's just so many rappers. But 50, I got Kool G Rap. 49, LL Cool J. 48, Common. I am a big Good Music fan, and Common was signed to Good Music, and he was affiliated with Kanye West. I had to put him in my top 50 because I think he's a legend, but yeah. 47 is interesting. 47, I have Logic. Now, Logic actually isn't in a lot of people's top 50 yet, but I honestly think even right now he's a top 50 rapper. I think his straight flow and popularity and dope freestyling abilities allows him to be on the list. 46, I got Bun B. 45, I put Rhapsody. 44, I put Jeezy. I'm a big Jeezy fan. I think he's been around long enough where he deserves to be in the top 50. So yeah, number 44, I have Jeezy. I think all his Thug Motivation albums are really good, and I think The Recession is something that puts him over the top. I think that was a bit of an underrated album. You know, My President, Put On, yeah, he deserves to be on there. Number 43, I have Cam'ron. 42, I have Busta Rhymes. And then 41, I have Twista. I think a lot of people put those two back to back because they're speed rappers. Number 40, I have Ludacris. I think there's a very small amount of people that kind of dog his rapping abilities, but I think he's an underrated rapper, and I think he deserves to be in the top 40. Number 39, I have Prodigy. 48, I have Royce da 5'9". I think he was better without Eminem on Bad Meets Evil stuff, but I think he deserves to be on there. 37, I have Big Pun. 36, I have Big Boy. What he did with Outkast was amazing. Obviously, Andre 3000 was a better rapper. Everybody knows that, but Big Boy definitely deserves to be on there. E40 is number 35. I think he's a legend. I don't think my number 34 artist gets on many top 50 lists, but I think KRS-One truly deserves it. Yeah, I think Sound of the Police by KRS-One is like amazing, and that Return of the Boom Bap album is just like, it's gotta put him up there. I think Rakim is 33, and I think A$AP Rocky deserves to be on this list at number 32. I know he's been around for a while and he dropped some mixtapes, but I think the 3 studio albums he has out is amazing. I think his raw talent is what puts him in this top 50 list. Although, yeah. A$AP Rocky needs to be on there. People might not like me for that, but A$AP Rocky needs to be on there. He's got to be on there. He has to be. Number 31, I have Pusha T. I told you guys I'm a big Good Music fan. What Pusha T did with Clips was legendary, and even his solo career, I think Darkest Before Dawn is a very underrated album. I think Daytona was amazing. All right, so we're getting into the top 30. For number 30, I have T.I. I think T.I. deserves to be on there because the T.I. vs. Tip album was amazing. I think No Mercy was one of the most underrated albums ever. Like in 2010s, I forgot when that album came out, but No Mercy is one of the best albums of that decade. Number 29, I have Lauryn Hill. You gotta pay respects to her. She's one of the best old school artists of all time. Number 28, I have Joey Badass. I know he's higher on some people's lists. I know he's lower on some people's lists, but I think his raw hip hop talent, mix of modern day sounds and old school rap puts him up there. He definitely deserves to be up there. Number 27, I don't know if people are gonna kill me for this, but I have Drake. I don't know if actually people put him lower on the list, not on the list, or higher on the list. I think he deserves to be on the list. I think he deserves to be in the middle of the list. He's one of the top selling artists, hip-hop artists of all time. He might be the top selling hip-hop artist of all time. I might need to fact check that, but I think he doesn't get put up in like the top 20 because of the whole ghostwriting thing, but he's definitely a legend. He's definitely one of the best, and I believe he deserves to be in the top 30 for sure. And I think in the future, Drake can be top 20. He should be. Yeah. Drake should be top 20 in the future if he keeps his career up the way he's going. I think he needs some stronger albums. I think he needs to release an album with less than like 20 songs. I think he needs a really good, solid next like 5 years of hip-hop albums to be considered top 20. Number 26, I have Killer Mike. I'm not sure how people feel about that, but I think Killer Mike definitely deserves to be on there. Number 25, this is someone I don't think people have on their list. I think people overlook this guy if they do have him on the list. I think he's about 25, right in the middle where I put him, and that's Rick Ross. I think Ricky Rose's lyricism is amazing. His songwriting ability is amazing. His production value is incredible. I think people want to work with him. I think people like working with him. I think he's actually an underrated rapper, but I think he's one of the best lyricists in the game, and he's been around for a long time. His longevity is great. I think Mastermind was an incredible album. Black Market, amazing. I really like Rick Ross. I think people overlook him for some reason, but he's kept his game up over the years. I think his flow is iconic, and yeah, he deserves to be 25. Number 24, I have 50 Cent. I think no one did the club scene better than 50 Cent in the 2000s. I think he was just amazing. He had such a crazy flow. He did the club scene well. I mean, like, in the club, I mean, that's just one of the most iconic songs of all time. I think Get Rich or Die Trying, The Massacre, Curtis, I think those albums were so good. That battle between him and Kanye in 07, I think it was Curtis versus Graduation. I don't know, he's just been iconic, and it's 50 Cent. Number 23, I have The Game. I think he's one of the best West Coast rappers out there. I think his production value is amazing. He's worked with so many people. I think he's a great storyteller in general. I think his flow, I think his vocals are very good, and I think The Game deserves to be at number 23. Number 22, I have Method Man. He definitely needs to be in the top 25. This is where it gets so hard. Number 21, I have Snoop Dogg. Like, no one did it like Snoop Dogg. He's one of the best come out of the West Coast. His smooth and laid back flow just makes him stand out. And I mean, Snoop Dogg from the 90s to now, his longevity is just up there. His production value, you know, working with Dr. Dre and Tupac and those legends, like, in pure like hip hop talent, I think he's 21. That's great. I think he's 21. You know, Doggy Style album, legendary. Snoop Dogg's definitely 21. Number 20, I have DMX. No one pumped out music like DMX. I think his unique style of just like super, super hype. I think It's Dark and Hell is Hot was like an amazing album. I think X Gon' Give It To Ya is just such an iconic song. I just think his energy and his style really put him in the top 20. For number 19, I have Redman. I know Eminem, Until I Collapse, say Redman's and you know, above him in like the top 5 or whatever, but I got Redman at number 19. At number 18, I don't know if this is gonna surprise some people or not, but I got Lupe Fiasco. I think Food and Liquor, The Cool, Lasers, dude, that Lasers album was really good. I was all about that Lasers album. I think Tetsuo and Youth, Drogas Wave. I just think Lupe Fiasco deserves to be in the top 20, even though he's not as popular or mainstream, I believe. In terms of raw hip-hop skills, he deserves to be 18. I think being able to keep it up for this long, I mean, Food and Liquor was released in 2006, so he's been around for like more than 15 years, or about 15, but I think because of his storytelling and his lyricism and his iconic albums, he deserves to be top 20. Number 17, I have Ghostface Killah. Number 16, I have Raekwon. I love both of them. you can't have like a top 20 list without putting them, I think, because Wu-Tang Clan was just so iconic, and just, you know, their raw hip-hop skills put them in there. And the reason I put Raekwon at 16 above Ghostface Killah is because Cuban Links, I think, is definitely one of the best hip-hop albums of all time, and that was really hard, but I think Raekwon gets 16. Number 15, we're getting into the juicy stuff, and this stuff was very, very, very hard to do. Oh, it was just so tough. Number 15, I have Ice Cube. I think Ice Cube's songwriting abilities are what put him in the top 15. The reason I think Ice Cube deserves to be in there is because I personally think, like, I think he was the best part of NWA. I just think Ice Cube deserves it, mainly because of songwriting ability. Number 14, I have Big L. I think Big L's a legend. Number 13, I have Black Thought. That might come to a surprise for some people, but I think as the leader of the Roots, I think he's been around for so long. I think his flow is one of the greatest flows of all time, and I think Black Thought deserves to be top 13. Number 12, I have MF Doom. I think people might have him higher on their lists. I'm not really sure. I think MF Doom's raw hip-hop talent really puts him in there. I think Doomsday, Food, I think he's underrated. I don't know if 12 is underrated for MF Doom, but I think he definitely deserves to be top 12. And then number 11, I have Scarface. I think some people have Scarface in their top 10. I have him as number 11. It might be a little biased just because I'm not as big of a Scarface fan. Don't hate me for that. I think, you know, Smile, Mr. Scarface, On My Block, Guess Who's Back, you know, I just think all his songs are truly iconic, and I think I just didn't put him in my top 10. Oh, I don't want to say it's because I'm just not as big of a fan of his as these top 10. That's probably bad of me. I can't be biased, but I just think these other 10 are better, so let's get into the top 10. Don't kill me for this, don't kill me for this, don't kill me for this, but number 10, I have J. Cole. I know some people think J. Cole is boring. I think he's great. I don't know why people don't think he's as great as he really is. Like, he is a top 10 rapper, whether you like it or not. I think his 2014 Forest Hills Drive was probably one of the best albums of the 2010s, one of the best hip-hop albums of all time. I think just the way he gets to people's hearts, and his production value and his voice and his flow and his songwriting abilities, like his songwriting abilities definitely put him in the top 10. Like, I mean, the Sideline Story and For Your Eyes Only, like those stories and his storytelling abilities, that is why I think he's top 10. Like, no one told a story as good as For Your Eyes Only. Like, that album was amazing, and if you really like look up the story behind it, like, absolutely incredible. And KOD, I mean, KOD, that album changed so much. Like, he made statements with that album. Number 9, I have Andre 3000. What he did in Outkast was amazing, and his songwriting abilities definitely puts him at number 9. He's just not higher for me because he doesn't really have his own solo stuff, but I mean, he's never put out anything bad ever. So Andre 3000's at number 9. Number 8, I have Kendrick Lamar. Number 8 and 7, I kind of switch back and forth, but I think he's one of the best songwriters. I think his energy, I think his vocals and his flow let him deserve number 8. I think Good Kid, Mad City is one of the best songs and albums. I think his whole discography is great. I think he's been around long enough to where he deserves to be top 10. And yeah, Kendrick Lamar, number 8. Number 7, I have Tupac. I think Tupac deserves to be number 7. And for some people, he's higher. For some people, he's lower. But for me, I put him 7 because, gosh, I didn't even tell you guys, like, influence also is a category where I, made my list on, but, top 10 is really where the influence comes in. And, as some people say, Tupac wasn't really as influential as he was inspiring. Like, he did change the world with his lyrics. He did change the world with his songs. Unfortunately, he wasn't around, a long time, but I think he was so inspiring to a whole generation of artists that he deserves to be number 7. Number 6, I have Nas. Nas is number 6 for me because he is just one of the best rappers ever. I think the Illmatic might be the best hip-hop album of all time. Like, I know that he gets sick and tired of people saying like, oh, the Illmatic, but I think his discography kind of went down as he got older. Like, it just wasn't as good as he was when he was 18, but just in terms of pure rap talent, he's in there. He's number 6, Nas. Number 5, this is not bias, I'm going with Kanye West at number 5. He might be higher on some people's lists, might be lower, but the reason I have Kanye at number 5 is because of his influence and his production value. His production is amazing. He produced for Jay-Z, Alicia Keys, Beyonce, and more before he was even known. Kanye is my favorite rapper of all time, in my opinion, but I think he's number 5 because I think his flow isn't as good as the other 4. I think his songwriting abilities also might not be as good. Oh, that hurts to say. That hurts so bad to say. But I think Kanye's production value is at the top, and I think his influence is at the top. Like, you know, there's no Cudi without Kanye. There's no Drake without Kanye. There's no Travis Scott without Kanye sounds. And every album that Kanye comes out with, it changes the game to another level. So Kanye's at number 5. Number 4, same thing. His influence is amazing. I have Lil Wayne. His longevity, every album that he puts out is amazing. Even Rebirth, I liked that rock album. Don't judge me because of it. He's got to be number 4. His freestyling abilities is insane. Yeah, I just think his wordplay is amazing. I think his influence is global. And Lil Wayne deserves to be number 4. At number 3, I have Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z is a top 3 GOAT of hip-hop. I think what he's done in the 90s and as he gets older, he's still amazing. Like, I think all the Blueprint albums were iconic. I think the Black album was iconic, probably my favorite Jay-Z album, that and Blueprint 3, and even, you know, 444 that came out, it's still good. So I think in terms of ability, he still got it even from the 90s, and Jay-Z's number 3. Number 2, some people might judge me on this, but I got Notorious B.I.G, Biggie Smalls. I know he wasn't around the longest, but I feel like if he was still here, he would still be on top of the rap game. I mean, that guy could rap. He was just so cool and so amazing, and his songwriting abilities, his lyricism definitely puts him up there. I think his sound, I think his sound is really what puts him up there. Like, you know, unfortunately, I think I was born right after he died or right before, but I think if he was still here, he would still be like super popular, super influential, super inspiring to the younger generation of rappers. I think rap might be different. I think his influence might have influenced the game in another way than what the game is currently. So number 2, I have Biggie Smalls, and you know that leaves number 1 for Eminem. Some people might not agree with this. A lot of people will put him lower, but I truly believe Eminem is number 1. I really do. I think he's got the pure hip-hop talent. I think he's got the craziest songwriting abilities, and what he did when he was in Detroit is just like unreal. The odds that he was going to be one of the GOATs was near impossible, but he did it. He put the work in. His lyrics are just amazing. He was so controversial that's what made him stand out. That's what made him popular. His internal rhyme schemes, his rhyming in general, his longevity. I mean, he's still here. He's still here. 25 years he's been doing it. You can't argue with that. 25 years later, he's still on top of the world. Some people might not like his flow anymore. I'm not the biggest fan of his current flow, but his albums are still selling like crazy. His albums are still getting streams like crazy. Everything he's done, I mean, it's just classic. I think the Relapse album was amazing. I think Recovery. I just think his long career of legendariness, that's not even a word, but he's just a legend. He's a legend status. He's the GOAT. Eminem is the best. So that is my top 50 rappers of all time list. Don't kill me if you disagree. I know everyone's gonna disagree because everyone has their own opinions on it, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm really keen to hear what your guys' list, at least top 10, is. I think this list can be pushed around a lot. I think you could switch rappers around. I think you could switch artists around. It's all up to opinion, but that's my list. That's my opinions. So once again, let me know what you guys think about this list. Let me know what your guys' lists are. I would love to hear your guys' opinions and your lists. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EJSpark1, and make sure you listen to my music on all streaming platforms. I'm coming out with new music this month and every month up until June of this year. And I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the thumbs up, and As always, it's peace, love. I love s'mores. EJ out.